Hello there. Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 8 books, host of 2 PBS specials, here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Specifically, how to use my life from the top of the mind philosophy to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today, I want to talk about the subject of healthy boundaries, specifically how and when to say enough. It reminds me of that quote or that scene from Network. I think it was a big movie. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Enough. This comes from the inspiration from this comes from a book by Brene Brown. It's called Daring Greatly. And she talks about this in her book. It's about kind of vulnerability. It's a great book, by the way. I really recommend it. But she says we have to believe we are enough in order to finally say enough. I love that, because I think when we don't think we deserve respect, or we don't deserve whatever we're wanting from someone, and by the way, this is probably something that we would talk to, maybe a close family member, maybe a spouse, a partner, a significant other, maybe somebody at work, but somebody who we just have had enough, right? And we want them to stop or change some behavior. And so what we have a tendency to do, I think, is wait until it's bad enough, or we finally are mad as hell and can't take it anymore, or it just gets so bad that we have to finally say enough. So the challenge is twofold in there. Number one, we've got to believe that we are enough in order to be able to say enough. That means we've got to know our own worth and value going into these relationships in order to kind of know when enough is enough. So what I encourage people to do is to get really clear about our own worth and value, where our confidence comes from, like who we are, the qualities and characteristics we bring to life. I encourage the folks that I work with as a psychologist to kind of make a list of 20 qualities or characteristics of you at your best, and then read that like 3 times a day until it just becomes automatic. Because what we want to do is have confidence in who we are and have that knowing of we are enough. We are, we are lovable enough, we are smart enough, we are caring enough to be treated a certain way, to be in a certain type of relationship. But we got to know that. I think sadly, there are times when people are in abusive relationships and they stay in there because they really don't have a clear sense of their own worth and value. And it's that being loved every once in a while by that person, even though it's abusive, and other times it unfortunately keeps them in those situations. So we got to believe that we are enough in order to say enough. But then the idea is, okay, well, when do we say enough? Does it really have to get really bad before that happens? What if instead of waiting it to get so bad we just can't stand it anymore, what if we kind of go into that situation with a vision of what that relationship looks like, how we want to be treated, how we talk about things, how we resolve problems, what does the intimacy look like? What does all that look like? So that we have a clear vision of what we want in that relationship. And then when something's off, rather than waiting for it to get to be so bad, just kind of bring it up. But bring it up in a way where you and the other person can begin to resolve the issue. Because frankly, issues are easier to resolve when they're smaller than when we finally say enough. Because often when we finally say enough, the other person takes that as criticism and goes, whoa, where did that come from? Because we've been kind of holding it back and not saying it. So I think the question of healthy boundaries, when and how to say enough, is number one, knowing that we are enough. We deserve to be treated with respect and to be treated in a way that we would recommend to someone we love, and we are confident in our own worth and value. And then we pay attention to any time in that relationship that there's something off, so that we deal with it sooner rather than later. We don't wait till we have to be, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. Enough is enough. We begin to just kind of bring this up, say, hey, I noticed this is going on. This really doesn't work for me. Does it work for you? Can we talk about this and maybe come to some sort of resolution about how we want to move forward as a relationship, as a family, etc.? Because I think those kinds of ways of knowing when it's enough, knowing our own worth of value, and then saying it in a way that the other person hears not as criticism, but as an opportunity to enrich the relationship. Because chances are they want a positive, meaningful relationship as well. And they just may not know that we've been holding it back. And that's why saying it sooner rather than later, without all the vitriol that comes from the I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore, I think is a really good idea. This all comes from a philosophy that I call life from the top of the mind. Written a book about it. It's what I go around the world teaching. Because this tendency to think we're not enough comes from this fear-based part of the brain. And a lot of us grew up believing that the only way we are valuable is when we do something or accomplish something or please somebody else. And so that's that sense of I'm not enough until something or someone makes me enough, some external experience. But when we bring these 20 qualities or characteristics to our life, to our work, to our relationship, then we can have confidence in that. But that's got to be coming from what I call the top of the mind, this upper 80% of the brain. The problem is the middle brain, the limbic system, has a tendency to misinterpret almost anything negative as dangerous and throws us into the lower brain where we go into flight, where we don't say anything, or fight, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. Those, unfortunately, are both reactions that often don't get the result we want. If we're willing to get really clear what our vision of a relationship is and our own worth in that relationship, then we can bring that to the evaluation of the situation. If it's like incongruent with the relationship we would recommend to someone we love, we can begin to address that. But we can address it sooner rather than later, coming from the top of the mind, being able to say things in a way that others can hear. Or if they do find themselves, reacting to that, we can still stay connected to them in that conversation without then reacting to their reaction. This is something you'd like to learn for your organization, your church, your school, your family. I love to go around the world teaching this to people. It's what I love to do. So feel free to go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, or just Google Bill Crawford, PhD. I'll come up on the first page. Hit the contact button. Let me know what you're interested in. Love to talk with you about that. If you're liking these videos, I try to post one every week. Please hit the like button. How Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, love it when you like it. I post these on iTunes as podcasts, so feel free to check that out as well. Try to get the word out, kind of take this philosophy of coming from this clear, confident, creative part of who we are as a way of creating the life we want. And that's kind of my mission on the planet, to go around and help people be able to do that. So if it's something that you would like me to do for you, let me know and I'll be happy to talk with you about that. In the meantime, here's to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the future.